I'm Matt with etrailer. Today we're going to be talking about the Benton ShiftShow Bike Rack on the back of our 2021 Nissan Murano. Now this is going to be a hanging style bike rack, but what I like about this one is it's actually pretty unique when you compare it to other hanging styles. It can do a lot more, and it's probably going to be the most compact out of all of them. So the first thing I really want to showcase though is how our bike is going to interact with our vehicle. So when you're driving down the road, typically with a hanging style bike, that bike is going to move a decent amount. So here we're still getting some movement. On some extreme occasions, that tire might make contact with that bumper, but the handlebars are not going to make contact. Now, if you don't like that, I know a lot of people will put some straps around the frame and the tire to limit that rotation, and even that much will save you a lot with making contact. Now, what's really unique about this one is that a lot of hanging style bike racks, they won't tilt back if you need into your hatch. This one will. The way we can do that is by coming down here. This might be a little bit awkward to grab if you have this fully loaded up with 4 bikes, but if I just push on that, pull that pin, let that drop down, you can see we get a pretty good tilt. And that's impressive because we can have 4 bikes, each one at 40 pounds, so that's going to have a decent capacity to it too. But the reason why you might want to do that is if you're out and about, you got some groceries on hand, you can throw them back here without unloading all your bikes. Or if you want to get ready for your ride, I can grab my helmet, tie my shoes, and then get going. But when you're ready, just shut that hatch and put this back into the seated position. All we have to do is push on it till it clicks into place. Now, if you want to take a closer look at this, I'm going to remove my bike. This is going to be a pretty simple process. All you got to do is undo each one of these straps, one closest to your back tire, and 2 up top. Now, I will say the distance between each cradle is a little bit tight, so keep that in mind. If you have any mountain bikes, you might have to get a little creative when you do lay them on here. And when you are taking it off, you can have something inside that frame. Now, if you have a really tight frame or alternative frame, that might not work great for this. As you can see, it's a little tight right there. But I wouldn't recommend anything with a really nice paint job sitting on here because it could scuff it up. Now, when it comes to the padding on each one of those, there is going to be a little bit on each point where the straps are, with an addition of this kind of foam or rubber pad at the very top. But with all that said, let me put these straps back up and we can get a couple measurements. Now, the first measurement I'm going to get is going to be the overall distance from our back bumper. So I'm going to grab my tape measure. This is going to be sitting at just about 36 inches. So for a 4-bike carrier, that's pretty tight. So that'll save you a decent amount of space. But if you have handlebars on your bikes, especially your mountain bike, that's going to be sitting out a little bit wider. So keep that in mind. So if you're in a tight spot like a parking spot, garage, definitely watch out. Now for saving space, we can do that just by pulling on this pin here. This will drop down. And now you really don't have to worry about all that space, especially if you're in that garage. But now it's going to be sitting at just about under 13 inches. So that's a really compact rack here. Now for the lowest point, this is going to be sitting at about 11 inches. Now I will say this is fairly close to the vehicle, so anything this close, you don't have to worry about as much when you're going up those steep inclines, but definitely keep an eye on it still, especially in a parking spot or a lot or a garage. Now for the way this is going to install, we are going to have this 2-inch shank that goes into your 2-inch hitch receiver. And then we'll have this anti-rattle bolt that goes through, connects to a nut, and there's going to be a safety clip at the very end. And all this is going to do is give you a really good hold back here. Something else I wanted to mention before I forget is going to be what this is going to be like to uninstall. So you just need a 3/4 inch socket and wrench. Don't do that. Got mine on there pretty tight. You just undo that nut. They'll come right out. But as I'm doing this, we can talk a little bit about what it's going to block. So right here, it is going to block your license plate and your backup camera. So I'd mainly recommend using your back window since that's not going to be blocked, or your mirrors on the side. And as for your taillights, that's what's nice about a hanging style bike rack. It really doesn't block much. And now I can pull this completely out. Oh, let me take that pin out first. When I pull that out, the way this saves space is by pulling on this pin again. When you pull that pin, this time you can push in. Just like that, and fold that shank up. And just like that, this fits really nicely on a shelf or in the back of your vehicle. But if you guys have any other questions, please let us know here at eTrailer. And again, I'm Matt, and thanks for watching.